Hello, fabulous friends and fans. Welcome to your horoscope for the week of July 5th, 2015. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. This week begins with Mercury speaking in harmony with Venus. Now, this is really nice for sweet conversations, right? Put it together. Mercury's conversations communicating Venus is love and sweetness and softness and joy and pleasure. The experience of life being one that we understand isn't always about toiling, but also about enjoying and also contemplating and considering and conversating as well. These two planets speaking in harmony like this says that we are motivated to reach out to other people. We're going to be having conversations, some of them a little flirty, some of them that leave us with some questions, but it looks like overall deciphering any kind of questions are probably going to be a lot of fun. And it does look like overall an atmosphere where people are going to be feeling like they can say anything, but in the best possible sense. But here's the thing. What's also happening right around the same time is the sun is going to stand across the sky from Pluto. Now, this happens once a year. Once a year, the sun stands across the sky from Pluto, and this can bring with it a moment of honesty that doesn't always feel so comfortable. I got to break it to you. I'm sorry. Now, just know that because we've got this supportive environment around what otherwise might be a challenging conversation to be taking place in the sky and reflected in our lives through some challenging interactions, because there's so much support around this particular celestial event, it does tell me that we probably aren't going to be feeling as bad as we might otherwise feel if it was just the sun standing across from Pluto. But rather, the moment of honesty, the moment of truth is likely to come in a way where we're able to see how this can lead us on a pathway towards better. And at the same time, we are able to connect with faith. So the sun across from Pluto can bring with it some powerful attractions, some very fated encounters, also can bring with it some really intense emotions as well. This is going to be part of almost a continuation of the full moon that took place last week. So the full moon that happened last week, this week coming in, we're still going to be riding some of those more intense emotions, motivated to make some changes. And some of that awareness might come about through a one-on-one encounter with another person. But having said that, it looks like there's sweetness and softness in the air. So we're able to receive whatever conversations or messages arise. And at the same time, what we also have happening this week is Mars speaking in supreme harmony with Neptune. Now, think back to the energy that was taking place just a month ago, because it was right around a month ago that Mars was speaking with Neptune in a conversation that wasn't supremely harmonious, far from it. Was speaking with Neptune in a conversation of tension a little over a month ago. So if you think back to what was happening then, that would have been a time of some confusion, heightened sensitivities on a physical level, in terms of some people were feeling just, more irritations on a physical level, maybe some allergies, or on an emotional level as well, feeling easily irritated. This is going to bring some resolution to matters that likely have been there for the last few weeks, but also this is likely to bring with it a real sense of inspiration, a real sense of faith that you can work on your own behalf to make your life that much more ideal. So I'm really encouraged by the fact that what might otherwise be particularly challenging is actually sandwiched by two really lovely and supportive celestial conversations taking place. And this tells me that the likelihood of whatever encounter happening being something that is so confronting and so difficult is negated significantly. And rather what we have taking place this week is a truly transformative moment with another person that has the ability to open our perception, open our minds, open our hearts to what a more inspired life and a more loving life could be for us. You add to this the fact that Mercury will change signs this particular week, thank goodness, after spending an unusually long time in the sign of Gemini. This week we have Mercury moving into the sign of Cancer. So an extended lesson that was with us all through May, all through June, now in July, comes to an end as Mercury leaves his home sign, and enters the sign of Cancer as we slowly but surely start to see some energy building in that part of the sky, getting ready for next week. We will have a new moon in this part of the sky. So Mercury getting ready to move up to, get involved in, try and meet that or get closer to that coming new moon by entering the sign of Cancer. So we should expect conversations to get rather emotional, okay? In the sign of Cancer, Mercury tends to speak more of either matters of heart or matters of fear. Can speak of things like out of nowhere, on the one moment being very intellectual, on another moment being very emotional as well. Now, Mercury does symbolize the media. So wherever Mercury goes, so goes our attention in terms of the media's attention. And so in the sign of Cancer, we should see people talking a lot more about matters of patriotism. That's what Cancer is about. So for better or worse, we're going to see that conversation playing out more in the media coming up this week and in the weeks to come as well. Well, thank you so much for watching the introduction. I love your interactions. Please do keep them coming. Facebook, Twitter, Google+, my website, nadiyashah.com, and of course the YouTube comments as well. Thank you for your amazing support and love for Synchronicity University. So Synchronicity University was launched, was presented, was offered to the world, to you guys in late June, and you guys have been watching the lessons, enjoying them, giving me lots of feedback all over social media, and it truly means so much to me. You know, everything that I offer, everything that you see as part of my work really is to affirm what I believe very much with all my being, and that is that the universe is wise and loving. That is my mission in this world. That's why I tell you guys about it every week when we do these weekly horoscopes. It is my mission to affirm that in the world. And so Synchronicity University allows me another way to do that. And the fact that you all are receiving it with such open arms and open hearts truly means so much to me and allows me to live my mission a little bit more fully. So thank you so much for that. And I love your questions. You guys have great ideas for videos and also lots of great astrology questions. Sometimes you ask me questions that are a little bit more personal based on your unique situation. If that's the case, please do consider a personalized horoscope where I can look at your unique birth chart. I've got some new focuses now that I'm offering, a life purpose focus, a luck and career focus, and a luck and love focus. And you guys are really liking that. You guys have been contacting me about that. So thank you so much for that. Looking forward to exploring lucky energy and how to create greater positive energy for yourself, which is when I think astrology is at its best, when it empowers people. And also the hard copy of my book is out and you guys are buying it. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm so grateful for that. I hope you're enjoying it. Of course, Synchronicity University is my book come to life as well. And I am going to be at Lilydale Assembly in the middle of August. And I will have books there as well. I'll be signing books as well. So for more information about that, you can go onto my website, nadiyashah.com. Well, thank you so much again for watching this introduction. How all the wonderful celestial stuff this week speaks to you and your sign is coming up right now. Hello, fabulous Aries. This week we have your ruling planet Mars reaching out in supreme harmony with Neptune. This to me says inspiration that hits home, inspiration that reaches right to the heart of you and feeling a deep sense of meaning and connection to something greater than yourself. Now, this likely is going to play out in matters having to do with what's happening on the home front. So wherever it is that you live, this could play out. This could play out with your family of origin. But it looks like you are in a very deep way feeling understood and feeling very plugged into source, feeling blessed for what has been. Also a supreme sense of forgiveness for what maybe wasn't so ideal. And seeing how it actually benefits you and allows you to live more fully today in a more empowered sense as well. So overall, you are feeling energized and you are feeling inspired. If you're a musician of any kind or somebody who, for their work or as part of what you like to do, need that divine inspiration, this could be a week where you have a wonderful breakthrough take place for you. Now, what we also have happening this week in matters of heart is a supreme understanding. It's almost as if this week does promise the possibility of a connection that goes beyond words. Now, keep in mind, Neptune's involved with your ruling planet right about now. So what that tells me is you may not be seeing things very clearly, right? Venus is also in shadow right about now. So you may not be seeing everything entirely accurately, but it really is okay. If you're enjoying yourself, you're being honest, at the very least, you're learning something about yourself. And also there really is a lot of potential right now to take what is inspiration and understand how that hope is actually a strength. That hope for better in love, or that hope to experience greater love as well, is a part of you that really you always want to cherish. Hello, fabulous Taurus. This week we have your ruling planet speaking in harmony with Mercury. Now, this particular conversation says to me, I will be honest with you, it says to me, you got to be motivated to make the most of it, okay? So it's almost as if I see you seeing how you can create greater possibilities for yourself, especially on the financial front, and especially by reaching out to somebody, either in your family of origin or somebody like way in your past, like from your childhood, right? So when I say your past, I don't mean like a couple years back. I mean like from when you were growing up, when you were a kid, from your neighborhood. There is some resistance there, or there may be some resistance there, but if you are willing, and really just a little bit of willingness to overcome that resistance, I think you're going to find the reception goes supremely well. It's almost as if this person has been waiting to hear from you, will be absolutely delighted to hear from you, but you're going to have to get over some kind of internal conversation that feels as if that there's some resistance, that maybe, you know, there might be matters of pride that are playing out there. But for all that, if you can put some of that to the side and really seek to reach out to somebody with an open heart, then the conversation will naturally lead to the direction of prosperity, to the direction of money. You know, it's not uncommon when you connect with somebody that you haven't in a while for one person to say, hey, what are you doing these days? You know, what's your work? You know, and if you can share, honestly, share some of your ideas, share some of your brainstorm, share what you're doing and how you feel about what you're doing, the conversation will grow really organically and allow something to come forward that feels very right. On the romance front this week, now, if you're connecting with somebody from the past, also motivated by romance, that could actually work in your favor as well. Now, keep in mind, Venus is in shadow. As I keep reminding you guys and talking about you guys, talking to you guys, all of you, really, in the weekly horoscopes. Venus is in shadow right about now. But if you're inspired to connect with somebody from your past, that's amazing. That should be a really nice conversation for you to have. Also, if you are in an established bond and you're very happy in your established bond, this can be a time when you're sharing something a little bit more deeply, where you're allowing that person to know something about what was for you as a way for them to understand you that much better today. Hello, fabulous Gemini. Well, this week we've got Mercury, your ruling planet in your sign, speaking with Venus. So this is really one of the last things that Mercury is going to do before the last major conversations that Mercury is going to have before leaving your sign this week as well. So Mercury's been in your sign for over 2 months. And when your ruling planet moves through your sign, the focus is on you. It is all about you. It is all about who you know yourself to be, how you identify. It's about that I am, right? And however you understand that. I recently spoke about this. Actually, I spoke about Uranus in Aries and how it relates to Caitlyn Jenner. Actually, I did a special video on that, an impromptu hot topics kind of video on that. So you may want to watch that, because just for the fact that I speak a lot in that video about this idea of I am. What is it that we identify with most closely? What are our most immediate identifications? And how they really set the tone for the lives that we end up experiencing, our entire lives for that matter, and how important it is to be in the truth of that. Well, in your own way, you've been experiencing that as Mercury has been going through your sign. You've been having to look at that question of I am and decide if you're choosing to identify closely, identify on a heart level with descriptions, with identifiers that empower you or not. So this week, as Mercury reaches out to Venus, this is going to be your chance to see yourself with eyes of love and to decide if you truly are understanding yourself and choosing to align yourself with an identification that empowers you or not. And if it doesn't, you're going to have to adjust some beliefs around that. But it does look on the very least, I do think that a sibling or a cousin or a neighbor is going to be a part of this process for you, where sometimes it's the people closest to us that see us a little bit more clearly. And it may be one of these people who right about now either reaches out to you or you reach out to them, who says something to you like, you are really kind, or you are really nice, or you're really brave. You really inspire me. You are an inspiration, who says something like that that makes you see yourself so differently, and will also make you understand the last 2 months that much more clearer. It will make you understand how identity has created so much of your experiences, particularly over the course of this last 2 months. It gives you that chance to make that final little adjustment rooted in self-love. Now, what we also have happening this week in the context of love is, this is Venus. Your ruling planet is speaking to Venus, so it does look like love, matters of heart, or the desire for greater love will be very much a part of this process for you as well. Whether it is an innocent flirtation, very likely right about now. Whether it is you approaching somebody and being willing to have a casual conversation as you go about your day, or it actually is in an established bond where you sort of are doing your errands together, if you will, and end up having a very spontaneous conversation. It is going to be matters of heart that also are going to be part of you understanding yourself and that, that ephemeral and very powerful I am in much more empowering terms. Hello, fabulous Cancer. This week we have got all this wonderful activity happening with you thanks to Mars. Mars is in your sign, energizing you, giving you a sense of drive, giving you a sense of determination, asking you to really own your power, full stop, but also own your power to change. Own your power to understand what it is that you have power over and to be willing to work towards that change that you desire. So we've got Mars in your sign, which is amazing. What we're also going to have this week is Mercury entering your sign. This is going to open up your mind, light up your mind, make you feel more brilliant, more bright, more able to understand than you probably have felt over the last couple of months, as Mercury was spending an unusually long time in a really quiet part of your chart. So it's almost as if I'm seeing you have a point this week where all of a sudden you feel awake, inspired. Yes, Mars is speaking with Neptune this week. So you'll be charged up, inspired, feeling motivated, especially by something, whether it's an amazing dream or a divine vision, more likely, some adventure that you feel calls you that feels really lofty and really out there. Something in you wakes up. And so you wake up on a level of body and energy, and you wake up on a level of mind as well. And it is this that is going to set things into motion that will fully come to, or more fully come to manifest as the month rolls on. Keep in mind, next week we're going to have a new moon in your sign. So it's like your personal new year is set to start. So this is going to be your chance to connect with something in you that understands, really understands on a level of mind, but also understands on a level of heart and emotion and energy, and understands where it is that you want to go. Next week, there'll be some very brave and bold new beginnings set to initiate for you as part of a really important month that's set to play out, as I spoke about in the monthly horoscopes. Now, for love, we do have the sun in your sign speaking with Pluto in your opposite sign. So where it comes to love, I mean, this just looks like to me a very powerful moment, a very powerful encounter. So this might be with somebody new, and this ends up having you look at yourself really differently. But this is a very fated attraction that's likely to play out right about now. Now, those of you born in like right around the 5th of the month are going to feel this more. If you're born right around the 5th of July, you're going to be feeling this that much more. So if you're born this week, basically, so happy birthday. If you're born this week, you will be feeling this energy that much more. However, all Cancerians out there should be feeling this. Powerful attractions to another person, powerful sort of moments of truth if you're in an established bond. And wherever it is that you haven't wanted to accept something, or you've been hiding something, in all honesty, or you haven't wanted to be very clear as to your boundaries, this is going to be a time when that emotion comes to the surface, and you will have no choice but to go there, and no choice but to have that conversation that might feel difficult to have, but actually is really necessary to clear the air for what was, but also to get on more powerful and more honest ground. Hello, fabulous Leo. This week we have got Venus in your sign, speaking in harmony with Mercury. Speaking in harmony with Mercury, I love this for you. This to me says that you are going to be very likely to be feeling romantic, yes, talkative, yes, and also very social as well. So this is a pretty social energy playing out. Now, also this week, your ruling luminary, the sun, will stand across the sky from Pluto. This is all about moment of truth. And for you, this becomes especially pronounced where it is that you haven't wanted to look at the truth. So you've really been having your head in the sand, or you have been not wanting the full truth to be laid out there. So especially where it comes to matters of love, to be really honest with you, this is going to be a time when it's going to be really hard to ignore anything that's been swept under the rug. So this might play out in an established bond. So this is where things that have to be addressed may come up, may come to the surface for both of you to look at, to heal, to decide how you're going to move forward from here. This could also be, if you're somebody open to meeting somebody new, this can also be you looking at your own barriers, your own, whether it's blocks, whether it's obsessions, whether it's where it is that you trip yourself up and you get in the way of you experiencing the type of love that you desire. You're going to get really honest with yourself. And that can begin the process of some really powerful, really wonderful changes that will bring greater love closer to you. Hello, fabulous Virgo. This week we have got your ruling planet Mercury speaking with Venus. This just tells me you'll be feeling good. There should be opportunity, especially work-related opportunities that find you. It could be that people are speaking well about you without you knowing about it on your behalf, speaking well of you. And this is going to be a time when one of those recommendations, one of those supporters, because of their efforts, it pays off in a really nice, whether it's a promotion, whether it's an opportunity, whether it's just an interview, but some chance to move yourself forward, particularly where it comes to any kind of career goal or any major goals that you have in general. This also has to do with clarifying a sense of purpose, and this week events should come together in a way that allows you to get a clearer sense of what really matters to you in your life as well. Now, what we also have this week is Neptune in your opposite sign speaking in supreme harmony with Mars. This is really good for love. This is good for romance. This is good for social time with somebody or social time that leads to meeting somebody. So this is a week to be out and about. If you are with someone, be out and about with them. If not, get together with friends, because it is either through friends or while out with friends that you are likely to make some heartfelt connection with another. Now, I like to see some other stuff playing out to suggest a more solid atmosphere. However, at the very least, this is going to help you to understand that you do have options and will help you to feel a real sense of possibility and just a real faith in the love that is available in the world for you. Hello, fabulous Libra. This week we have got your ruling planet speaking in harmony with Mercury. So your ruling planet speaking in harmony with Mercury, this says to me that There for you now is going to be a real sense of adventure, a real sense of vision, you thinking about where it is and what it is you need to do to manifest bigger and better things in your life. And it's very likely that all of this inspiration, all of this understanding gets kicked off thanks to friendships. So it is a good time to hang out with people, hang out with friends, especially where it comes to just being more social, having more fun with your life. But also this is really good for getting together with people who might be related more to like groups that you belong to, memberships that you might hold. This is a really good time to go to those types of events where you have connections with people more as acquaintances or more in terms of having a certain similar interest, if you will. And as part of this, allowing yourself to welcome in a newer understanding of what it is that you could do next to create greater, better in your life. Now, whatever that better is, that could be a better, sweeter financial picture. That could also be love as well, and love related as well. So if you're in an established bond, it can be at one of these types of events that you get a deeper appreciation, a deeper clarity as to what love is going to mean for you. And if you are open to meeting somebody new, a connection may very well happen. At the very least, an interest may be sparked by somebody in as you go around as part of one of these events. But also this week, what we have is the sun standing across from Pluto. This to me says that where it comes to matters of home, where it comes to matters of career, there's lots of focus there. Lots of you really looking at and considering where it is that you really desire to go. And there's some adjustment that is set to be made there. So this is either going to be you going and making a power move. I got to say, this could be you going for a promotion or an interview or some kind of power move, and just seems like you have a lot invested in it. Or this could be a goal that you really, really want. And it's almost palatable that you can feel it. You're trying to figure out how to make it happen. So there's an element playing out here where you might even be, you know, to use lack of a better word, plotting, right? So it's almost like you are really thinking about, really trying to strategically figure out how you're going to move yourself forward in a more direct, more purposeful sense in order to achieve your objectives. And chances are some of the strategizing is going to take place very quiet ground on home front as you are alone. It seems you're very driven right about now to make a breakthrough happen for yourself, to make a victory happen for yourself. And that alone will ensure that you do make progress. Hello, fabulous Scorpio. Well, this week we've got the sun standing across the sky from your ruling planet, Pluto. So, as I like to say, whatever's happening with your ruling planet in the sky, it's like your ruling planet is your representation in the sky. So whatever's happening with your ruling planet is going to speak directly to what is happening with you on matters of heart. What is going to be most important to you? What are you likely to be doing this particular week as well? So when we've got these planets playing out like this, it looks like a conversation is going to lead to you feeling, now, if I may just say this, right? I got to say this. So there's lots of supportive stuff happening. We'll talk about that in a moment. But when I see a sky like this, it looks like you might feel like some buttons being pressed, okay? It might feel like you have to justify yourself. It might feel like you have to say something or prove something about what you believe. And it may be that somebody doesn't understand clearly what you said, and that could be part of the process of pushing your buttons. So it might be that you're making a statement in support of one particular social issue or political issue or something aligned with something that you're passionate about, something you believe. And in some way, either the other person doesn't agree with you or is wanting to see the limits of that, wanting to push some buttons, or they just really don't get it. Like they just don't understand, whether they don't get it because they don't believe the same thing, or whether they're interpreting what you said in a different way, in a way that you didn't intend. It does look like some sort of moment may happen this week. Now, the good thing is that we've got this really lovely supportive conversation happening between Venus and Mercury, which says to me, you can talk just about anything out. So whatever it is, you have that ability to take a moment and say, whoa, wait a minute, what's happening here? And then to decide how you're going to address this in a way that is light and that is effective as well. So whether it's just you, sort of making a light comment or making a light joke, whether it's you able to see what's actually happening here and deciding not to get pulled in, that really is the greatest power. And I think that's when Scorpios really are at their best. Because Scorpios can have all kinds of really powerful feelings, for sure. You're one of the most feeling-oriented of the sky. But how to have that certain sense of, at least in the moment, how to be smart about it. So you can, at your best, also not let it show, is what I want to say. And so in doing that, not only does it on some level feel like you're able to retain some power, but also what's really great about that is it allows you to then not do something that maybe you would regret in the bigger picture. So holding back, a lot of people regret what they do, but when you don't do something that might have ultimately been, hurtful or disrespectful, it's usually for the best. And you usually, as much as it might not always feel good to not having said your piece or yelled at them or corrected them, at the same time, when you are mindful that a lot of the things you're feeling might not necessarily even be about that person or their stance, but more about you, there is a power in that. And that allows you to connect with what really matters to you and to be in that truth rather than to need to prove that you're in that truth. So just be mindful of that. Some strong emotions may get triggered right about now, having to do with ideologies, okay? And the ideologies are likely to be subjective. Okay. Now that doesn't mean that if you're in a situation that's not fair, you shouldn't speak up for yourself. Of course, that might be the lesson for you. But chances are, and the more likely scenario is, that you will see it for what it is. And you'll see that it isn't about you. And you will find a way to behave and speak and respond in a way that allows you to feel good about yourself and also allows you to smooth things over so that you don't end up doing something that you're going to have to go back and say, oh God, I'm sorry, I interpreted it this way. I didn't mean to have that reaction. That's what you want to avoid. Where it comes to love, look, the sun standing across Pluto in your sign, it may be a love interaction that ends up being part of this. It might be somebody that you're attracted to or you're flirting with or you're meeting for the first time. That is part of you having to look at and having to figure out how to express what it is that you believe to somebody who maybe doesn't necessarily feel the same way. If you're in an established bond, also this could bring with it a real awareness of where there might be a disconnect between your beliefs and the beliefs of your partner, all part of you coming to know more about each other and find that middle ground. Hello, fabulous Sagittarius. This week we have got a very sweet conversation happening between Venus and Mercury. And this to me does suggest that you're going to find the right words at the right time to say the right thing that really gets another person to see their whole reality and even maybe you very differently than they did before. And I think that this is especially going to play out in terms of your relationship and in terms of love. So we've got Mercury in its final stages in your opposite sign. So Mercury's been here for an unusually long time, for the last couple months, over 2 months now. And this is a position that says you have been considering your relationship, you have been having to talk things out, or at the very least give attention to a partner. And as part of this now, you are very likely now to find yourself having conversations, making plans, thinking about what the two of you really want, creating a vision together to help you move into your future. So this should bring a lot of sweet resolve where maybe before, especially at various points over the last 2 months, there might have been confusion, right? There might have been heightened sensitivities around a particular partnership or just feeling like, is this person really understanding me? Are we speaking the same language? Those types of feelings should start to feel like they negate, particularly this week, as you start to feel a greater sense of understanding as you talk it out. So that's in an established bond. If you are open to meeting somebody new, this is going to be a time when you are having those conversations, getting a little bit of your flirt on as well. But also I think the likelihood of you connecting with somebody who is not local, okay, very strongly indicated. Either they live in another country or a really different culture as well. So these are part of themes that are going to be repeating themselves over the course of the summer. But this should be a time when you start opening yourself up to more of the world by letting your heart lead the way. What we also have happening this week is Mars. So Mars is going to be speaking in harmony, in supreme harmony actually, with Neptune. And so this, to me, this is playing out in parts of the sky that are decidedly quiet, that are consciously quiet, okay? So it's not like, you know, stuff is happening you're not aware of. No, this is happening in parts of the sky you're aware of what's happening. So this tells me that there's a part of you that's going to be really motivated to work on things, to pursue things that ultimately are sort of behind the scenes, if you will, or at least you don't want to be putting yourself out there. You don't want to be wearing your heart on the sleeve so much. And so there's going to be part of you that wants to hold back a little bit right about now in terms of what you're announcing to the world, whether it's with your personal projects, whether it's with your matters of heart, whether it's with matters of children or fertility. There might be things that you're choosing to keep close to the heart right about now, and that's the right instinct. You are now beginning a process where you're likely going to be working on secretly, consciously secretly, projects that are very creative and that are very meaningful to you as well. So this is where you connect with inspiration. This is where you value and come to understand the value of having that alone time so that you can, in your own way, nurture and slowly give birth to a creative dream of yours. Hello, fabulous Capricorn. This week we have got the Pluto in your sign standing across the sky from the sun, or rather the sun is standing across the sky from Pluto in your sign because the sun moves faster. So the sun is going to get into a position to stand across the sky from your Pluto. So when I see this playing out, I mean, this is about your one-on-one relationships, whether business or romantic. So where it comes to the business front, this is going to be a really honest evaluation of how people are part of your life, how they're helping you, how they're not. How is it that you're working with people, or at least a key person at that, and evaluating that relationship. So wherever it is that maybe you haven't been doing your part, you can expect a partner to call you out on that right about now. And I have a feeling, you know, as I look at this with Pluto, we tend to know it's coming. Pluto doesn't come out of nowhere. Uranus comes out of nowhere, but Pluto doesn't. With Pluto, it's a slow burn. And it's something that we understand on a very deep level, has been coming for a while. It's a slower process of change and of transformation that tends to be a while coming. So we've got this slow process taking place. I have a feeling, and especially with last week's full moon that took place in your sign, really powerful full moon at that, I have a feeling that you've actually been feeling this coming. It's been feeling like this is building for a while. So allow it to come together for you, okay? Allow it to line up for you very nicely and line up for you in place. The awareness, that is. And through that, you are going to move towards an understanding, a more honest connection with this other person. So I gotta say, if you know that you've been slacking off, you haven't been sort of like doing your part within this partnership, chances are your partner's going to call you out on that. And that's going to be part of you deciding how you're going to move forward from here. It might also be that the relationship itself, both of you sort of come to evaluate it, where you sort of say, okay, is this still working for both of us or not? And it might be you that it's not working for anymore, but regardless, both of you are going to be looking at that relationship, and the more honest you can be, remember, we've got lots of, as I spoke about in the intro, lots of really positive support taking place with having conversations that are respectful and sweet, having conversations that allow the best words to flow forward, words that you can be proud of, words that can make you go, okay, I'm glad I said it like that, okay? So allow yourself to tap into that part of you, so that you can come to that deeper understanding and that deeper appreciation with this person. Now, this could play itself out in a romantic alliance. And if that's the case, if you're with somebody, I mean, this is like that, proverbial, you can't ignore what you have not wanted to look at for a while. So there are few signs in the sky this week where that's the case, and yours is certainly one of those. Whatever it is that you haven't wanted to look at, whether you have known but haven't wanted to acknowledge, or you haven't wanted the other person to know, this is a time when, secrets can come out right about now, and or at least, the truth of them, the instinct of it becomes very undeniable right about now. So this is good, right? Because ultimately the truth allows things to evolve, and evolution is always a good thing. So allow that truth to come forward so that the two of you can decide the ground on which you stand. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean it's bad, okay? So don't necessarily expect bad things, but if you've just been really annoyed about something and you haven't wanted to acknowledge it, if your partner has a certain habit, you haven't wanted to really say to them, look, you keep doing this, what's going on? This is gonna be a time when you are not gonna be able to hold back. If you are open to meeting somebody new, this could very well bring with it a very fated, very powerful, sort of draw to another person. Now, this other person may be totally wrong for you. I gotta say, there might be, it might be glaring how much this person is not for you, which can happen. There tends to be elements there of powerlessness when Pluto's involved. However, if you can allow yourself to be aware of your feelings and be aware of what decisions you're making in the process, then you certainly can't make a wrong choice, and you certainly can learn a lot about yourself in the process, because chances are the attraction alone will provide for you in its own way a cathartic moment that you very much need. Hello, fabulous Aquarius. This week we have got this very sweet conversation happening between Mercury and Venus. So this conversation speaks really well for you romantically. This is all about romance, very nice romantic moment happening for you. It isn't necessarily over the top, bowling you over, but it does look like you're having conversations, you're feeling a deepening of understanding. If you're in an established bond, feeling that bond get that much more, at least to feel, they say air signs fall in love with their best friend. Well, this is your chance to feel like, what, I do think I'm with somebody that I genuinely feel is my friend. If you are open to meeting somebody new, this can be a chance for you to just have those little interactions, have those conversations, and be more open to love. But, I actually have a feeling, I look at how the sky's been playing out as of late. It's been so romantic. It's been so nice that I think Aquarians very likely do have, at the very least, you've got a person of interest floating around. And if you still feel like the universe has forgotten you, you really are not going to have to wait very long. Just a few more weeks, I promise you. I look at what's coming up in August, a new moon in your opposite sign. But still, I don't think you're going to have to wait that long. But I just want to say that this is a time when the universe is really doing its darndest to get you connected to another person. And all it really takes is your willingness. Now, if you really are determined not to have a relationship for whatever reason, then this could be playing itself out in terms of business partnership, where the universe wants you to connect with people one-on-one to see how it is that the two of you can help each other to meet your goals together. And so this can be a really great time to shoot off that email to somebody that maybe you met, but then sort of let go of that connection. This could be a really nice time to connect with that person, to say, hey, how are you? How's the work going? Yeah, I've been thinking about you. I really like that idea you gave me. This could be a time that that connection can be, at the very least, nurtured, even just a little bit. Now, what we also have happening this week is the sun standing across the sky from Pluto, and also Mars in the same part of the sky, speaking in supreme harmony with Neptune. Now, I think that this can be a week of some really nice financial news for you. I think this can be a week where it feels positively inspired. There's hope. Now, it may not necessarily be that something is instantly manifesting, but it does look like at the very least there's promise, there's potential, there's inspiration, there's faith. There's a real sense that the work is good and getting better, and that you can work and create greater prosperity for yourself. And there's happiness all around this. And at the same time, it looks like there's a lot of work. So you're putting a lot of pressure on yourself. It's like you're trying to make something happen on the work front, and you may be tiring yourself out in the process, especially health-wise. So you want to make sure that you're getting enough rest. You want to make sure that you are checking in with your body, because as much as work might be there, if you are not feeling up to it, then the work can end up suffering. So what you want to do is make sure that you're taking the best of care of you to negate some of the pressure you may be feeling. Don't fall under any stress. Keep it about the joy. Keep it about the inspiration, and you'll find yourself being that much more productive. Hello, fabulous Pisces. This week we have got Mars speaking in supreme harmony with Neptune in your sign. I absolutely love this for you. Mars speaking in supreme harmony with Neptune. This just tells me that you are feeling at your creative best. You're feeling loved, you're feeling joy, and you are feeling ripe with ideas as well. If you have children, this could be a really great time for you to spend with your children, or to feel a sense of support and energy and pride, really, with the children that you do have. If you want to have children, this can be a time when it feels like there's almost a miraculous turnaround, where the universe is very much on your side to make that happen for you. Now, where it comes to your creative projects, plug into source. You're at your best when you plug into source. So plug into source, and that's going to be the one thing that really helps you to feel like you're bringing forward your creative best. And at the same time, as I look at the sky, I also think of love. And this can be a time when love feels positively inspired as well. If you're in an established bond, this is about having fun, connecting on a heart level. If you are open to meeting somebody new, this is about flirting. It's about enjoying life and allowing a heartfelt connection to manifest. Now, there's a lot of hope around this, a lot of swept away energy around this. Not necessarily a lot of reality grounded energy, but that really is okay. Enjoy it, because there are a few moments like this that really allow us to feel like we're getting swept up on a pink cloud, and this is your moment. The one area where I think the energy is a little bit up in the air, then a little bit more than I would like, has to do with your friendships. And it looks like, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm just going to put this out there. If you're one of those people who feels that a friend is meddling in your love life, this is going to be a time that is confirmed. Okay? So that's all I'm going to say. I'm sorry. Because as I look at the sky, I don't think that this is going to be anything that comes out of surprise. And that's only if you've kind of known, if you've kind of been suspicious, if that's your reality, that's the kind of person that you happen to be around. This is going to be a time when that suspicion is confirmed. Some evidence, some clear moment is going to present itself to you where you're going to go, oh, okay, I get it. I get what's happening here. I get what you're trying to do. That doesn't mean the other person is bad or that they're conscious of what they're doing. But it does mean that if you have allowed a friend a little bit too much power in your love life, at the very least, you're going to get really honest with yourself about that right about now. But also this week, and what I love about this week, first of all, because we've got all that inspiration, it's almost as if it doesn't even matter. Yes, that might be happening. Yes, it may be a moment of truth that you kind of know is coming, but still doesn't feel so good. And yet you are feeling inspired. You are feeling motivated. You believe in love. And that belief alone makes sure that you experience it as much as is possible, that you appreciate just how much love truly is on offer for you now. Well, thank you so much to all signs out there. It'll be a great week. Enjoy.